at hello. So fill up your backyard, make a dwarf fortune. Don't wait, the garden's calling. Click now, tap the link and let's go. I've been working in the laboratory and people have been telling me that plants have become too expensive. They can't afford to garden. But I've found the magic formula and here it is. Plants for less than $10 equals affordable plants. And that means affordable gardens. And here we have it. Look at this here. Your chalk stick, a popular plant, $4.99 at hello. Then you've got your English box, $4.99 at hello. Incredible. And then you've got your cottage plants, beautiful little cottage plants like this one here, just $7.99. And then ground covers, you've got your popular silver dichondra, often $16 or $17 in your local store, $9.99. So affordable plants for your garden at hello. And there's your formula. Plants for less than $10 equals affordable plants equals affordable gardens. Don't wait, the garden's calling. Click now, tap the link and let's go. Finally, the end of the year. It's time to relax. No plans, no work. Just chill. Let's party. There's one more Growers Direct flash sale before the holiday. Wow! That's it. Vacation in the garden sale. Light up at 12 p.m. See you today. Look at this. What a beautiful hydrangea. Really unusual. You may have never seen this before. This has a beautiful little double bloom with no little white dot in the middle. Just a beautiful double bloom. And it's a mixture of beautiful pink and white. Absolutely gorgeous. It's called Miss Sayori. Now at hello, we've got over 30 different types of hydrangea here. And this beautiful Miss Sayori is just one of the hydrangeas. So if you want to see some beautiful hydrangea and learn the best hydrangea for your garden, come down to hello and check out this beautiful Miss Sayori with the double bloom and the pink and white flowers. Gorgeous. Don't wait, the garden's calling. Click now, tap the link and let's go. Have you left it too late to plant your tomatoes? You didn't put the seedlings in springtime like you should have? Well, it's not really too late. If you come down to hello, we've got these beautiful cherry tomatoes for $6 each. But when you come down here, we've got a free one for every customer. So you come in here, buy anything you like, and you'll get a free cherry tomato. And these ones are good big size, and they're starting to produce tomatoes already. So it's not too late to get some tomatoes for this summer. So come down to hello and get yourself a free cherry tomato. Don't wait, the garden's calling. Click now, tap the link and let's go. Do you need to block something out? Maybe you're on a busy street, maybe it's all loud and noisy, maybe you need a bit of visual privacy, you want to block out dirt. Ficus is fantastic. It's a beautiful, thick, lush green hedge that looks good every day of the year. Now, ficus is also very versatile. You can grow a peach, it's got trunks underneath, or you can grow them into a round ball, and you can grow them in containers. They're really tough and easy to keep in a pot year after year. So you can make hedges in long planter boxes, you can make round balls on a stick and keep them in a pot, say beside the pool or something like that, and you'll find them much hardier and versatile than most other plants. And even if you're planting up on a balcony up high in Melbourne, it can be hot, it can be windy, it can be difficult, and ficus is one of the few trees that are going to cut it in a hot, windy, difficult balcony up high in Melbourne. What people don't know is there's different types of ficus, and if you go to our ficus page, you'll see this ficus flash here, but you'll also see the very traditional ficus with the finer, more weeping foliage, and a new ficus that has less roots and doesn't grow quite as big as the traditional ficus. So for hedging, for topiaries, growing in a pot, ficus are fabulous. Don't wait, the garden's calling. Click now, tap the link and let's go. Finally, the end of the year. It's time to relax. No plans, no work. Just chill. Let's party. There's one more Growers Direct flash sale before the holiday. Wow! That's it. Vacation in the garden sale. Light up at 12 p.m. See you today. We've filled our nursery with beautiful top quality dwarf fruit trees. Look at this. This is a dwarf apricot here. What a beautiful plant. You can fit lots of these into your garden because they don't grow too big. They're lovely small growing apricot. We've got plums, we've got nectarines, we've got almonds, and over here these are dwarf cherries. Really, really hard to get. Beautiful dwarf cherries. So a fabulous range of dwarf fruit trees. Lots and lots of different varieties in stock now at Hello Hello. So fill up your backyard. Make a dwarf orchard. Don't wait. The garden's calling. Click now. Tap the link and let's go. I've been working in a laboratory and people have been telling me that plants have become too expensive. They can't afford to garden. But I've found the magic formula and here it is. Plants for less than $10 equals affordable plants. And that means affordable gardens. And here we have it. Look at this here. Your chalk stick, a popular plant, $4.99 at Hello Hello. Then you've got your English box, $4.99 at Hello Hello. Incredible. And then you've got your cottage plants, beautiful little cottage plants like this one here, just $7.99. And then ground covers, you've got your popular silver dichondra, often 16 or 17 bucks in your local store, $9.99. So affordable plants for your garden at Hello Hello, and there's your formula. Plants for less than $10 equals affordable plants equals affordable gardens. Don't wait, the garden's calling. Click now, tap the link and let's go. Finally, the end of the year. It's time to relax. No plans, no work. Just chill. Let's party. There's one more Growers Direct flash sale before the holiday. Wow! That's it. Vacation in the garden sale. Light up at 12 p.m. See you today. Look at this. What a beautiful hydrangea. Really, really unusual. You may have never seen this before. This has a beautiful little double bloom with no little white dot in the middle. Just a beautiful double bloom. And it's a mixture of beautiful pink and white. Absolutely gorgeous. It's called Miss Sayori. Now at Hello Hello, we've got over 30 different types of hydrangea here. And this beautiful Miss Sayori is just one of the hydrangeas. So if you want to see some beautiful hydrangea and learn the best hydrangea for your garden, come down to Hello Hello and check out this beautiful Miss Sayori with the double bloom and the pink and white flowers. Gorgeous. Don't wait, the garden's calling. Click now, tap the link and let's go. Have you left it too late to plant your tomatoes? You didn't put the seedlings in springtime like you should have? Well, it's not really too late. If you come down to Hello Hello, we've got these beautiful cherry tomatoes for $6 each. But when you come down here, we've got a free one for every customer. So you come in here, buy anything you like, and you'll get a free cherry tomato. And these ones are good big size, and they're starting to produce tomatoes already. So it's not too late to get some tomatoes for this summer. So come down to Hello Hello and get yourself a free cherry tomato. Don't wait, the garden's calling. Click now, tap the link and let's go. Do you need to block something out? Maybe you're on a busy street, maybe it's all loud and noisy, maybe you need a bit of visual privacy, you want to block out dirt. Ficus is fantastic. It's a beautiful, thick, lush green hedge that looks good every day of the year. Now, ficus is also very versatile. You can grow a pleach, it's got trunks underneath, or you can grow them into a round ball, and you can grow them in containers. They're really, really tough and easy to keep in a pot year after year after year. So you can make hedges in long planter boxes, you can make round balls on a stick and keep them in a pot, say beside the pool or something like that, and you'll find them much hardier and versatile than most other plants. And even if you're planting up on a balcony up high in Melbourne, it can be hot, it can be windy, it can be difficult, and ficus is one of the few trees that are going to cut it in a hot, windy, difficult balcony up high in Melbourne. What people don't know is there's different types of ficus, and if you go to our ficus page, you'll see this ficus flash here, but you'll also see the very traditional ficus with the finer, more weeping foliage, and a new ficus that has less roots and doesn't grow quite as big as the traditional ficus. So for hedging, for topiaries, growing in a pot, ficus are fabulous. Don't wait, the garden's calling. Click now, tap the link and let's go. Finally, the end of the year. It's time to relax. No plans, no work. Just chill. Let's party! There's one more Growers Direct flash sale before the holiday! Wow! That's it! Vacation in the garden sale. Light up at 12 p.m. See you today! We've filled our nursery with beautiful, top quality dwarf fruit trees. Look at this. This is a dwarf apricot here. What a beautiful plant. You can fit lots of these into your garden because they don't grow too big. They're lovely small growing apricot. We've got plums, we've got nectarines, we've got almonds, and over here, these are dwarf cherries. Really, really hard to get. Beautiful dwarf cherries. So a fabulous range of dwarf fruit trees. Lots and lots of different varieties in stock now at Hello Hello. So fill up your backyard. Make a dwarf orchard. Don't wait, the garden's calling. Click now, tap the link and let's go. I've been working in the laboratory and people have been telling me that plants have become too expensive. They can't afford to garden. But I found the magic formula and here it is. Plants for less than $10 equals affordable plants. And that means affordable gardens. And here we have it. Look at this here. Your chalk stick, a popular plant, $4.99 at Hello Hello. Then you've got your English box, $4.99 at Hello Hello. Incredible. And then you've got your cottage plants, beautiful little cottage plants like this one here, just $7.99. And then ground covers, you've got your popular silver dichondra, often 16 or 17 bucks in your local store, $9.99. So affordable plants for your garden at Hello Hello, and there's your formula. Plants for less than $10 equals affordable plants equals affordable gardens. Don't wait, the garden's calling. Click now, tap the link and let's go. Ah, finally, the end of the year. It's time to relax. No plans, no work. Just chill. Let's party. There's one more Growers Direct flash sale before the holiday. Wow! That's it. Vacation in the garden sale. Light up at 12 p.m. See you today. and early spring will be the time for digging plants out of the garden and moving plants around.
Yep.
And this time of year can be pretty deadly for digging things out of the garden and moving them. But for taking things out of a pot and putting them into a bigger pot or into the garden bed, now is the time for doing it. And one of the best things around is sea salt. Sea salt, you could use sea salt. For instance, say you were putting veggie seedlings into your veggie patch. You buy some veggie seedlings up the street, and you got punnets of veggie seedlings, and you break out those punnets and planting them. There's nothing like taking those veggie seedlings, have a little basin of water mixed with a strong dose of sea salt, and dipping them in for 10 minutes before dipping their roots of the whole pot in. For 10 minutes before you transplant them, and then watering them every couple of days with a little bit of sea salt in it, and that really helps Now, sea salt is not fertilizer; it's a supplement. Really, it's a sort of a healthy supplement for them, but it's great for it's particularly good when you're transplanting. And I know one nurseryman's got a really big nursery, and anytime he's transplanting anything, he always uses a bit of sea salt.
And I sort of look at sea salt as a bit of a tonic.
Yeah, tonic's the right word, yeah.
Yeah. Now, Chris, we had a little bit of an issue with our audio, so you get to do a do-over on that question. So right. You might approach it from a different perspective, but the question was generally, what should I do if leaves have dropped after a plant has been transplanted from one place to another?
Okay, so what that's indicating is transplant shock. Now, if it's something that you dug up from one part of the garden and moved to another part of the garden, what I'd be doing is I'd be pruning the plant back quite heavily and applying some sea salt. So pruning the plant back will take a bit of load off the roots, and sea salt will help new roots grow. So that would be the answer there. If you're taking something out of one pot and planting it into a garden or another pot, I would use sea salt. I might prune it back a little, and I'd use plenty of and I'd make sure that it was kept well watered and a little bit of fertilizer too.
Yeah. All right. Now, so Joshua, just thank you very much for letting us know that we had that sound issue. That's really helpful. Okay, so Ray is on Instagram and has said, for many, many years, we've been seeing you bringing dwarf avocados and also updating us on the latest developments. Could you please update us in terms of your thinking on dwarf avocados?
Right, okay. So what I've noticed that quite a few orchardists are now starting to use dwarf, particularly in the apple department, they're using dwarf understocks in their orchards. And I think the reason is that your dwarf plant flowers heavily, fruits heavily, but doesn't put its energy into growing. And I think that handled properly, most of your dwarf fruits, and that includes apricots, plums, peaches, the whole works, are going to give you more fruit per effort or per occupied space than a normal fast-growing big tree.
Yeah, and I find with the dwarf fruit trees that we don't have to cut them back nearly as often.
Yeah, and that massive growth that you get on a normal fruit tree is energy that the tree is using to produce a big thing that you're not needing. Yeah. And you have to chop off. Yeah. So the advantage of your dwarf fruit tree is that its energy is going into flowering and fruiting.
And I think it's really important. I know we talked about this in the Q&A last week, but really important to keep dispelling the myth that dwarf fruit trees means that you're going to get dwarf fruit. No, it's not the case, is it?
Yeah, that's right. People have this idea that you've got this giant tree with little tiny apples or little tiny cherries or something on it. It's not true at all. It tends to be a small tree with big fruit, juicy fruit, lots of big juicy fruit.
And sometimes you can look at the tree and say to yourself, how on earth is this bearing so much? But they really are prolific.
Yeah, they are very prolific. And what's interesting is that times are changing. Once the only time you could buy a fruit tree was in June or July. Right now we've got over 1,000 dwarf fruit trees in stock in the nursery right now, all different, fabulous range of fruit trees. And what it is what they're doing is that they're grafting the fruit tree late in summer, getting it with what's called a dormant bud on it, putting it into a pot, and then shooting it away. And what you'll find is instead of those great big fruit trees you buy bare root in the winter, these fruit trees are only 60 centimetres tall. They're nice and bushy, and they've got a beautiful fibrous root system in a nice 5-litre pot. And if you're careful and plant them properly, you'll get a 100% strike on them, and they'll take away and they'll grow all through the summer, and by winter they could be over a metre tall and beautifully established in your garden. And it's this new method of doing it, it's called, what do they call them? They call them spring buds. So they're buds that they bud in late summer, early autumn, and then they dig them up, and what they're planting in those pots in winter is just a stump with some roots, and then in springtime it moves away. And by the end of spring, beginning of summer, you've got a beautiful bushy little tree. In fact, would you go and get one of those dwarf fruit trees for me?
Dwarf fruit tree?
One of the dwarf, actually they're just over there. Get me one of those dwarf fruit trees, and we'll show people what they get when they buy a dwarf fruit tree.
Aha, yes, because there's some really good looking ones here. Oh, looks like we've got an Anzac peach coming in.
Actually, that one's got a broken branch on it, but oh no, it's got a broken branch, a couple of broken branches. Go have another one. So here we are. We've got a dwarf Anzac peach here, and anyway, this has been a spring bud. Now what you see is lovely fine fibrous root system here, and you don't tease the roots. You just pop that into the garden, plant it nice and high, plant it up to here in the ground, but beautiful root system, nice thick base. This base here is about 18 months old, and then this shoot here has been growing since about September, so it's very young and fresh and very vigorous, and this will grow to over a metre tall. By next spring you'll get a little tiny bit of blossom on this, and like within another year you'll have a 1.8 or 2 metre beautiful little dwarf fruit tree that's going to, and this is really a new way of buying them. When you buy the bare roots in the winter, there's you lose the odd one, and whereas this is a very, very hardy, good way to do to do your fruit trees, and we've got 1,000 dwarf fruit trees in stock right now.
And Chris, when I don't know about you, but like when I'm pruning fruit trees, I mean I do a lot of espalier, but if I'm just going to grow a fruit tree in the backyard, in the middle of the backyard, I tend to cut the centre. Me
too. And what you're wanting to do, I sort of think of a hand. I think of a hand like that, that's heading outwards and nothing crisscrossing or heading into the middle.
Yes, you don't want to have one that's dominating in the centre, one shoot that's dominating in the centre, and then everything branching off that. You want to cut that central one out and let everything go around it.
With a tree like this, you would start your pruning. Say if you planted one of these and you got it up 1.2 metres tall by winter, you would then look at pruning the centre out of it and then having it sort of heading out like your hand, like that.
Yeah, and the reason we would do that is for ease of access to get into the plants, and also for sunlight penetration, and also for air circulation as well, so you don't get like black sooty mould or anything like that.
Yeah, and that's the way orchardists do it as well.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, so I've got quite a few questions popping up here in the chat. So now Len has joined us on TikTok, and Len has said, my fiddle leaf fig is dropping lots of leaves.
Oh, now one thing, you see people advertising and marketing fiddle leaf figs. Now I used to be a landscaper in North Queensland, and they grow everywhere and they just grow wild. They're the toughest, they're the roughest, toughest tree around. But as an indoor plant, everything has to be just right. Not too much water, not too little water, not too much light, not too little light. You've got to find that right spot. But it can work. I was in a house the other about a month or so ago. At any rate, they showed me their fiddle leaf fig, and it was growing up to the roof and had branches everywhere, and it was amazing. It was this incredible tree in the house. Yep. And so you can do it, but it's a matter of don't overwater. Like I think with watering, you're probably only watering every 10 to 14 days, but then you really water when you do water. Like it'll be really, really dry. You give them a good soak, maybe take them out, put them in the laundry trough and give them a good soak, and then 12 or 14 days, let them dry out again. They need a sort of a light room, but not like too bright or too hot. And
definitely not too dark either.
Yeah, and not too dark. So it's a matter of getting everything just right. or the other thing is, if you're going out to buy yourself an indoor plant, like we've got these beautiful, what are they? They're really beautiful, the umbrella trees there.
Oh yes, Schefflera.
And they're like 13 times more easy to grow than
yes.
So I think anybody buying one should. I think the fiddle-leaf fig is one of the most beautiful trees around, but I also think it's one of the hardest. They're so hard to grow as an indoor plant that I don't even have one.
Yeah.
like
Chris, an indoor plant that I have, which I probably don't give enough credit to, but has performed well for me since I first put it in 2013. And I know that was 2013 because I was growing, I was selling seedling heirloom tomatoes in the Victorian Farmers Market at the showgrounds, and one of the coffee producers, they actually gave me this tree. Shout out to Ewan. And so my coffee tree, I've got an Arabica coffee tree.
Yep.
It is just always looking good. It does sulk if I don't give it enough water, but that's how I know to water it. I don't water it unless it starts to droop a little bit. And boy, howdy, has it performed well for over 10 years now. It's beautiful. Yeah,
that's right. There's a lot of things that look really great that are really easy. And like just what you said, 10 or 12 years ago, we took home a Ficus benjamina, which is another type of ficus, and we've really hardly looked after it, and it was just a little scungy little thing like that. It was kind of a throat one that really needed to be, it couldn't stay in the displays anymore. It was looking pretty seedy. And it's gone home, it's been watered, it's been fertilized, it's been looked after very sporadically, and it's now taller than me and green and bushy and lush and fantastic. And that was like 12 years ago. So be very difficult to do that with a fiddle-leaf fig.
But one thing that I think maybe people aren't aware of is grow lights. There are some really good grow lights that you can get from places like IKEA. So IKEA has these lovely large bulbs, which you can actually, as long as you've got an Edison style, that's the screw style light fitting, you can actually just screw that into any of your lamps. And I've got sort of a couple of lamps around my house where they've got different joints, and I can push the light up or down depending on the direction of where the plant is. And if I put that on for a few hours every day, if I'm in if I've got a plant I want to keep in a lower light position, it actually feeds from the different types of light that it gets from those lights.
Wow. Yeah. So people, that would help a person. But I think if you view a fiddle-leaf fig as a bit of a challenge, and you take it on as a challenge, and if you're not prepared for that challenge, go for something easier like a Ficus benjamina or a coffee plant, or there's lots and lots of things, the umbrella tree, there's lots of things that are much easier to grow and still look great.
Fantastic. All right, so Two Brothers Landscaping has said, hey there, you guys, have you got any books that can help with photos and information so that we can learn?
What you'll find is our main output in terms of information and ideas and things like that is once a week I jump in the car with my videographer, and we go around and we take a few nice plants out with us, and we knock on doors. I don't think anyone else has ever really done it. But we knock on doors, we go and we go along, we see a beautiful weeping elm, really excellent, and we go in, we give them a nice plant, we take photos and we do videos, and I might do a little thing and explain about weeping elms and how you could use a weeping elm. And what you find is that if you go to YouTube and go to Facebook, you find that we've got over 1,000 videos covering all sorts of things, all sorts of garden issues, all sorts of plants, different ways of solving different problems, and like if you were to watch the odd one, a couple of them a week or something like that, you really can learn a lot really easily while you're just relaxing.
Absolutely. And if you go to our YouTube page or to our YouTube channel, you can actually type into the search bar whatever it is that you're looking to learn about, and there'll most likely be a video from you, Chris, about that particular plant. When we're doing garden design consultations, we refer to that all of the time, don't we?
Yeah, that's right. To give people an idea what they could do, And like, you know, we've done, in Toorak, there's a completely different garden style to the rest of Melbourne, and we've done a couple of Essence of Toorak videos, and you can, and what I do is that those gardens look $1 million, but they don't really cost $1 million to do. Like they're actually, surprisingly, that the people in Toorak are a little bit careful with their money, I think, and they're fabulous looking, but kind of economical at the same time. So, and I kind of expose that and make the ideas and concepts of those Toorak gardens available to everybody. And there's lots of things I've done like that.
All right, now, to put you on the spot, a garden book that you think is really worthwhile reading. And I know you've got some really interesting ones.
Yeah, you know, Paul Bangay, I think that he's works on putting a lot of style through a really big landscape and I must admit that I use some of his ideas.
Yeah.
And he's put out some fabulous books, which I've got a few of his books and really put out some very, very beautiful books that they're a lot of those ideas are not for the average guy, but you can you can kind of scale them back a bit and sort of turn them into something that's available to all. Yeah,
and something that's scalable to your property or your garden situation. Chris, so there is an excellent coffee table book that it was written by two local ladies, landscape designers, horticulturists, Tina Crawford and Lisa Ellis, and it's called Plantology. And the reason why I talk about this here is because Two Brothers Landscaping, obviously these guys are a landscaping business, and I think it's really good to give some really good recommendations for people in the industry who might be seeking to better themselves. So that is an excellent resource. I can't recall how many pages it is, but it is really heavy to carry, and I think it's about $100 the book, but I tell you what, it'll be $100 well spent because it's got so many fantastic plants in there that are adaptable to really any Australian climate up and down the eastern seaboard, I would say.
Now, the other thing, Jodie and I do garden designs here together, and what we do is very, very different to what anyone else that I've ever come across. And what we do is that we listen to the customer and they tell us what they want, and then we maybe dig a little deeper, and we look at the house and we look at the garden, and the house and the garden will sort of talk to us a little bit, and then we kind of look at what's happening there, and we look at what the people really, really want. And then I believe that everybody kind of knows what they want, but maybe doesn't have the tools to express what they want into the real world. And so what I do is we do very different. From one garden, we'll do up to 6 or 7 gardens a day, just quick little designs. And we don't say this is the right garden for you. We kind of draw it out of them and kind of let them help them to express themselves. Yeah. And so we get very, like, from one garden to the next, they'll be incredibly different to each other because and sometimes it's not, I'll do something or you and I will do something that's not what the people said, but kind of what they wanted,
yes.
There's what they said and then there's what they really want, and yes. Kind of you've got to sort that out. But I think what's important about what we do is there's no particular style, there's no particular anything other than helping people, understanding what they want and helping them to express and get what they really require.
Yeah, and I think the good thing about what we do is, we're a very good team in that regard because we've got landscape design, background, and we both are horticulturists, and we really understand the different areas and the different soils where people need their designs done. And we have an excellent, between us, I think we must have about 80 or 90 years of experience, on the ground experience, with plants and just knowing, what plants are really right for this situation.
Yeah, well, sometimes people bring in garden designs to get me to review them, and my fundamental thing is that like people come and say, "Oh, I love gardenias," but if they haven't got the right spot for gardenias, I won't give them gardenias.
Yeah.
But I'll look around and say, what could do this to give them the same feeling as a gardenia, but it's going to grow, in a hot, sunny, westerly position in Sunbury or something like that. So it's kind of interpreting what people want into, and what happens is you end up with very, very varied designs when you're doing that.
Yep. All right, so Two Bros Landscaping, I hope that was very helpful. I hope everyone found that really insightful. Wanda, best tip for growing and caring for a 2 meter string of pearls inside.
Wow.
That's impressive, 2 meters.
That's really impressive.
Yeah.
You might need to pot it on.
That's bigger than you, Chris.
Yeah, it's incredible. Look, I would review its pot size and consider moving it up into a bigger pot.
Yeah.
Like a 2 meter one's gonna really appreciate having a fair volume of soil to work through. And then apart from that, you need to keep it watered every 12 or 14 days, and I'd say at least once a month put something like a bit of power feed in the water.
Yep.
So I'd say so watering maybe 3 times a month. And one of those waterings would hold a bit of power feed.
Yep.
And I think you'd be on the money.
And just like a nicely watered down dose of power feed.
Not a high-powered one, because you'll stink the house out.
That's right. It'll smell like the ocean.
Yeah.
All right, let's have another little look. Okay, so Peter Lamb. Pardon me. So Peter has a similar situation to Len. Why is my fig tree not producing leaves? Now, Peter, we might need you to just elaborate for us. What kind of fig tree are you talking about? Like a black Genoa type fruiting fig, or like an indoor plant type fig? So many different figs.
And are there no leaves and no leaf production, or do you have leaves and you're not getting leaf production? You're not getting new leaves.
Yeah, is it just a bare stick at this point in time?
Yeah.
And with no leaves having emerged, or okay, so fruit. So Pete said a fruiting one.
A fruiting fig. Okay, you're in serious trouble. A fruiting fig at this time of year with no leaves is gone to God, I reckon.
Yeah, it might be.
Yeah,
it might be.
Yeah.
But I think if Pete could get his hands on Miracle Grow, because it sounds like Pete's going to need a miracle for this one.
I think it's time for a new fig tree.
Right, he said in general it's a bare stick, not producing leaves at all. Well, we've got plenty of figs down here.
Yeah, that's right. I think it's time for a new fig tree, and when you plant your new fig tree, dig a nice big hole, mix a bit of good soil in, use a bit of fertiliser, and on away you're away. I think fig trees are probably. Do you think they're the toughest fruit tree you can get?
Yeah, they have to. I mean, to grow out in those harsh conditions in the Middle East and absolutely love it, I think they really have to be tough, made of tough stuff. And I don't think there are many fruiting trees that are really as robust as that fig.
Yeah. We lost a fig tree on our farm, and it was a beautiful fig tree, and it was very, very productive. 2 fabulous crops a year, mountains of figs, more figs than you know what to do with. And we lost it because we altered our irrigation system. We flooded the area accidentally.
Yeah.
And so the one thing I learned is that fig trees are the toughest things around unless you flood them.
Unless you flood them.
Period. And so our fig tree became a stick with no leaves, or massive sticks with no leaves. So so that was my experience with a non-leafing fruit and fig.
All right, so Pete has told us that it's alive. He's scratched the trunk and it's green on the inside, which tells us there is life in there. We just need to try to find a way to break that dormancy and get it to. But I think we need to do something, give it a tonic, do something to make it, encourage it.
I think something like sea salt or something like that. But it's a pretty. Once you're in summer and you've got no leaves at all, you're in strife.
Yeah, you're in strife. Look, I would have a guess that maybe something like, that Nutrog that they've got a compost, which is enriched with 147 strains of beneficial bacteria, fungi, protozoa, etc. And maybe top dressing the soil around with
and
a bit of that.
cultivating it in a bit, yeah.
Yep. And perhaps, as you said, Miracle Grow. I know that's hard to get your hands on in Australia now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So maybe go out to Facebook Marketplace. Has anybody got some Miracle Grow, laying around in the laundry or something? But what's it? So you would say maybe some sea salt, some fish emulsion?
I think sea salt, fish emulsion, yeah.
Or maybe even a little bit of trace elements.
Yeah.
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 All right, maybe we can kick that into life. Be keen to know, Pete, if you have any success.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck to you. All right, so what else have we got here? Leroy Hills joined us on TikTok. He says, hey, Chris, Indigo 769, love your content. Any tips on controlling stink bugs, those bronze beetles, on my lemon tree?
What would you do?
I think, well, it's a bit of a tricky one because they are a sap sucker and they're going to be, sucking the good nutrients out of the leaves of our lemons. But you could hit it with a bit of neem.
Yeah, you could try neem, or if you want, the thing, you'd have to withhold the eating the fruit for a month.
Yeah.
But you could also do something like Confidor, or one of the Confidor derivatives, and clean them right up.
Yeah.
Because basically anything that sucks on them for 1 month is going to be poisoned.
Yes.
So and maybe check the withholding thing on the packet. It might be 6 or 8 weeks withholding, but you would clean them up.
Yeah. Yeah, good idea. Anything else? Maybe this is a what we call a cultural practice, but getting out there with a sharp jet of water, and just knocking them off. It'll frustrate them.
Yeah, you could try that along with. If you didn't want to use some strong or nasty poison, you could use the squirting, and you could use a bit of neem on them as well.
Yeah.
And you do the neem after you've done the squirting, because you wouldn't want to wash the neem off.
Of course.
And neem is good. What it can do, it has a terrible taste to it, and lots of things would go away and eat something else instead. Yes,
yeah, and because they're a sap-sucking, insect, they'll actually have to get through that bitterness to get to the good stuff that they're after. So that might discourage them. All right, so over on Instagram. So we've got I don't really struggle with names usually, but anyway, NDAMJA, love your work. Do you offer garden design consultations in Canberra?
Yes and no. What we've done a couple of designs in Canberra, and what we've done is we've gone on Zoom. What the person's done is you need to request it from. You'd have to email Jodie and request it, and tell her what you want to do, because we don't always agree to do interstate ones, but you could request it from Jodie, and we can do it by Zoom. And I've spent a lot of time in Canberra picking. My dad used to grow nearly 1 million plants a year from trees and shrubs from seed, and I used to spend a lot of time picking seeds in Canberra, because for some reason Canberra. Well, there's this book called Street Trees of Canberra, so it's like a seed collector's catalogue.
Oh, lovely.
And so, you'd say, Corateria, you've got to get some Corateria. So you look up, find the best street close by with Corateria and go there, some ginkgo, and you're off to another street. And so I've spent a lot of time collecting seeds there, and I've got an idea what does and doesn't grow in Canberra, and I'm quite familiar with the hot, dry summers and the cold, frosty winters of Canberra, and the beautiful gardens of Canberra.
Oh, gosh, you get some good autumn colour in Canberra, don't you?
Yeah, you really do. It
really is God's country. Okay, so what else have we got in here? I did see somebody had a question about, great indoor plants. Great subject. Perhaps we'll give our top 2 or 3.
Okay. So thinking about it, I think your spathiphyllum.
Oh, yes.
Flowers indoors. I've had spathiphyllums last 10 or 12 years in the house, just the one spathiphyllum plant. They can talk to you. What happens is that they, instead of just dying when you forget to water them, they put on this dreadful show of wilting.
Yes.
And so they're actually communicating with you and saying, water me. And so and that's why I think they're easy to keep alive, because they do they sort of do demonstrate their weaknesses. But really, anybody can have one, and anyone can have one, and they can keep it going for years, and they have their lovely bright fresh white flowers and their lovely green foliage.
Yep.
And then
yep.
And then thinking back, I remember buying my grandmother a maiden hair fern for I can't remember whether it was birthday or Christmas, and she loved it, and she looked after it, and I reckon she had it for about 15 years.
Yeah, oh look, they'll go and go and go. But you know what I think the great thing about spathiphyllum are, there's so many different types to choose from. So you've got your stock standard small leafed spathiphyllum, which I think most people know is a prayer plant. There's some really beautiful variegated ones. We've got some really lovely ones here.
Yeah. And there's big luscious looking ones. Yeah.
Oh, and those ones, I mean, if you want jungle feels in your house, and this is one of those slightly variegated ones there, Chris.
Yeah, so there we are there. So this you would find is something that could last you year after year after year. They just keep on flowering, keep on going, and they talk to you like that. This will go all saggy when you forget to water it, and you'll look at it, you'll feel guilty and terrible, and you'll rush across and water it, even if you're just leaving the house and you're really, really busy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was thinking the maiden hair fern really was a treasure for my grandmother for year after year after year, and I think that they're a wonderful indoor plant. You know, you can pop them in the kitchen, pop a nice little one in a nice pot in the bathroom. Very versatile. And then if you want something big and tough and able to be neglected and kicked around, giant bird of paradise.
Oh yes, yep.
Beautiful, easy. So really what I'm telling people is things that are kind of easy and carefree, not rare and amazing, but kind of easy and carefree and looking good. And I think that your giant bird of paradise. And then the other one is like back in the hippie days, I remember people used to have their devil's ivy.
Yep.
And they just get an old flag and put a bit of water in it, shove the devil's ivy in, and then they'd have it growing all up the wall and all over the place. And so devil's ivy really is, and you put the devil's ivy, you put in a basket, you can grow it on a wall. I went to one house and the person had trained it on a wire around half the room, you know.
Yep.
So devil's ivy is really something that with very little effort and care gives you a lot of pleasure. So I think that's a couple of real easy ones.
Yeah, I'm with you in that devil's ivy sort of, general sort of family or that kind of type of plant. I really like the philodendrons.
Yep.
So you got your heartleaf philodendron, will never disappoint you. It's tough. It puts up with absolute neglect, but the leaves with philodendron and the pothos as well, the devil's ivy, if you can get it to climb upwards, then the leaves get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger the taller that it grows, and so you can end up, with if a normal leaf is like half the size of your hand, you could actually end up with a leaf that is bigger than both of your hands fanned out.
It's true. I've seen them where they've gone up a palm tree I say up on the Gold Coast, they've gone right up a palm tree that might be 50 foot tall, and they go all the way to the top. By the time they get to the top, the leaves are this big.
Yes. And you know what's great about it? Because I have a lot of my indoor plants that are climbing up totem poles that I've made. Yep. I just have these wire cages that have a stake attached to the back, and they're filled with sphagnum moss. And when the plant gets to the top and it starts growing above the totem pole, then I cut the top growth off, and then I repropagate it down below so that I fill up the totem and it gets thicker and thicker. But the beautiful thing about that is the leaves keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So they start off really big.
Yep.
And you can end up with, like, I've got my Monstera adansonii. It's the Monstera with it's got the fine leaf, but all the holes, the Swiss cheese holes in it. And some of the leaves are as big as a ruler.
Wow.
Yeah, they're beautiful. Just gets more impressive the taller it gets.
Yeah, so that's a range of really easy, hardy indoor plants that give you a lot of pleasure without a lot of worry or effort.
Absolutely. So Joshua, I hope that was helpful. What else have we got in here? Oh, so Zani said, I have one, great fun. So let's have a look here. We're a bit quiet on the questions today. I think it's people have trailed off a little bit, but we do have Steffi who's asked, what is the best rose or flower climber, either white or red, for a fence that won't weigh the fence down?
White or red. So a lady di is very good.
Pandaria.
Yeah, Pandaria lady di. That has clusters of white flowers, and what I love about the lady di, a lot of climbers put on a terrific show, but only for a week or 2 or 3. Your lady di, not as big a show as some of the others, but the show is on from really the end of September till sort of May sometime. So really very, very long flowering, one of the longest flowering climbers I can think of.
Yep. Okay, now that's a white one. Something in another colour?
Right, okay, that won't weigh the fence down. That's an interesting problem, and I'm thinking not many things in red, is there?
Not in red, no, there's not.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got bougainvilleas, but they will weigh the fence down.
Although we've got a red bougainvillea on the shed at the back of the house,
Yeah.
and really it's a nice, it's a real fiery red, and really it's not that crazy, you know. Like
Right,
it's a beautiful red, and that red against the green foliage looks fabulous.
Now, that Herbertia scandens, the snake vine,
Yeah.
which is an Australian native, I mean, that puts out huge yellow flowers.
Yeah.
And that's not too vigorous. It's nice and soft as
Yeah,
well.
and that flowers for a long time, doesn't it?
Does, yeah.
Almost, most of the year. And also, on that lightweight on a fence, you can get it in a white, but you can also get it in a purple, is your Happy Wanderer or Hardenbergia. There's a white version of it, but it's not a particularly heavy climber. It it doesn't have thick branches, it's not that thick and bushy.
Yeah. Now, Kikzu has said, what about Chinese star jasmine? And that's definitely something that we use all the time in our garden designs. Yeah, it's so useful.
Yeah, it's one of our most popular ones, and with a bit of a trim you can stop it from getting too heavy.
Yeah, and it's beautiful and fragrant and flowers it socks off.
Yeah.
Kikzu also said red mandevilla. Yeah, that's a good option. Yeah.
Actually, one of my neighbours, or just around the corner from my house, has got beautiful red mandevilla flowering like crazy. I was looking at it this morning when I was walking the dog. I should
Isn't
have thought
it
of that.
funny when you're walking around and you're thinking about plants and you see something and you think, why haven't I done that?
Yeah, they've got 2 or 3 of them on wire stands in pots, and they look fabulous.
Fantastic. All right, so Steffi, I hope that's been very helpful. Now, Chris, we're getting towards the end of our hour here. So let's have a look here. B's got we've got a couple of new questions on TikTok. So B Thomas, my frangipanis had stem rot. I cut the rotted stem away. Will they survive? And I wonder if we're talking about a plumeria.
I think we are.
I think we are.
And some of mine have had that stem rot too. And I think what's important about it is the only old, healthy tropical frangipanis, which is the plumeria, that I've seen in Melbourne, the only old ones I've ever seen all were white flower with yellow centres, and they were all in nice warm little pockets, like little alcoves and things like that caught the sun, sort of a northeasterly kind of position. So not out in the screaming cold wind. So I think that if you frangipani, so here's the facts. Frangipanis will grow in Melbourne. They don't if you're sort of way out. What's a real outer suburb like?
Craigieburn?
Yeah, if you're out Craigieburn way, I think don't bother unless you've got an amazing little hot sunny little courtyard.
Yeah.
But basically, as you come in and you come into places like Glenroy and Preston and places like that, if you've got a nice sheltered, hot sunny little
Ascot Vale
corner,
somewhere.
or Ascot Vale
Yeah.
somewhere like that, and get down to Brighton and you're beautifully set up for it. But if you grow anything other than the green or the white one with the yellow centre, you've got a high probability that in winter the coldness will cause the stem to rot, and then once that rot gets in, it seems to keep on travelling into it.
Yep.
And you're really in strife. So I think it's a matter of choosing the right one, and choose the right one, and then put in the right spot.
Yep.
And you'll get away with it. And a friend of mine had a kind of like a big sort of sunroom, with big glass wall on it, and it was lovely and sunny in there. And what he did was he grew one in a pot, and he was in an area where you shouldn't even grow them, and he brought it in for the winter.
Yeah.
And it was in the sun. Kept it nice and dry in the winter, or sort of not totally dry, but sort of not too moist. Kept it dry and kept it in this beautiful on this beautiful sunny wall. And he was able to grow one for years there.
Right. Yeah, look, I've got one at home. It's in my hothouse. I had two. Somebody gave them to me. But I found that where I just didn't have the right spot for them. Interesting enough, I gave one of them to my neighbour, and it's going gangbusters. So it's just about having the right spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, just about having that right spot.
And what variety is it? The white and yellow one?
Yeah, it's a plumeria. Yeah, so it is that exotic, tropical, subtropical species. All right, so we're getting towards the. So bees in Bendigo. So
right.
So I think you're doing very well to be keeping that alive in Bendigo.
Yeah.
If you're,
I think in Bendigo, what you should do is find a nice sunny window, keep it in a pot, bring it in for the winter and out for the summer.
Yeah, good idea. All right, so we're getting down to the wire now. So Tao Tran has asked, what ground cover can I plant that will smother the weeds?
I think the very best ground cover weed smotherer is prostrate rosemary, because it grows really, really thick. It grows thick like that. Now what you've got to do is, say you're planting that, and what I say to people, I say plant 1 per square metre or 2 per square metre if you're in a hurry. Yes. And so 1 or 2 per square metre.
Yep.
And use a hoe and keep the ground clean hoe regularly. Keep the ground clean up until they take over, and they really do take over quite quicker than what you think. And then once you've got a thick mat of that, you'll only see the very, very odd weed.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, and it's beautiful, and you can use it for cooking and
flowers for 3 or 4 months of the year. Use it inside, and
it puts up with the heat and the dry.
Yeah, really extra tough and extra. I think it's one of the lowest maintenance plants around, and really good at blocking out the weeds. And some of the gardens and some of my customers have used it over a very large area, and it looks spectacular when you see a really big area of it, say a big embankment or something like that.
Yeah. All right. So Tao said, amazing, thank you so much. I love the smell of rosemary too, so that's great that we found the right plant for Tao. B said, thank you so much and Merry Christmas. And Missing Girl, I will make this the last question. Oh, hang on, what is that flower? Okay, two questions to go. First things first, we're gonna answer Weejan's question about the flowers that are in front of you.
Yep.
And then the last one's from Miss Girl.
I'm stuck for it. These are petunias, but what are they called? They call them.
Oh, is that Starry Night?
Yeah, but it's but anyway, so it's petunia, and it's sparkling surprise.
There
now,
you go.
What these are petunias, and there's some of the new varieties of petunias. They haven't been grown from seed. They've been specially bred and grown from cuttings, and probably tissue culture on the way. And these are going to these are a great way to brighten up for Christmas. But what's good, you might buy these to brighten up for Christmas, but they will keep performing right through to winter, and then they'll kind of die back a bit in the winter, stop flowering, and then end of September, as long as they haven't been, if they've been looked after well, end of September, they're away again, and you'll get a whole other season out of them.
And you want to give them a good hit of like an all-purpose slow release fertilizer, something like Osmocote or something like that.
Yeah, they love a feed. They love a feed, and they love a feed.
Yeah.
And plenty of water, and they love hot sun.
So what do you reckon, about 2 or 3 teaspoons per plant?
Yeah. I reckon 2 or 3 teaspoons per plant. And I remember renting a house one time, and the garden was just a mass of weeds, and I dug all the weeds out and did the whole front. Didn't have any lawn or anything. There was a couple of paths in and out of the house, but I did the whole front lawn in these, and people came from everywhere and went, oh wow, you know. But it was at the time I wanted the garden to look nice, and I just bought little tiny seedling petunias, and it was a very cheap, because petunias grow with water and fertilizer. Petunias grow quite big, so it was a very cheap way to fill a garden, was to just fill it with little tiny petunias, and they grew like crazy, flowered like crazy, and people came around and went, wow. And it was amazing. It made a big impact, because nobody had ever seen 100 or 120 petunias all planted and flowering in mass.
And they really do flower their socks off.
Yeah.
All right, so speaking of flowers, Miss Girl has asked for suggestions for pink flowers that flower in winter.
Pink in winter. Well, first of all, you've got your camellias, and the real one with a beautiful pink flower is, it's not avalanche.
With Love?
It's With Love, yeah. So there's your With Love camellia. Check that out. That has an amazing double pink flower without the yellow centre in it. But there's lots and lots of beautiful pink camellias, and then there's one called. What's it? FC Pain is a thryptomene, isn't it?
Thryptomene, yes.
Yeah, so thryptomene FC Pain. Now that is a Australian native, and they grow about 50 or 60 centimetres tall, and they grow over 1 metre wide, so they'll cover quite a big expanse, and they've got this fine sort of heathery kind of flower. But what's amazing is a couple of those to fill your whole garden with beautiful fragrance.
Yeah.
And so the fragrance, I did some videos on them, and kneeling down in amongst them was just the most amazing smell. And then, what's that hakea that's really hard to get?
Oh, Burrendong Beauty, and that does flower in the winter beautifully.
Now I remember on a miserable cold day, stopping the car, I saw a beautiful, and we've got a video on it, you could go and have a look at it, and it was, I reckon it might have been late June, early July, and I found this Burrendong Beauty, and what it is, people were always asking me for them in the nursery, but I'd never really experienced one myself, and we stopped to do a video of one, and it is probably one of the most amazing pink flowers.
Oh, it's a showstopper.
Yeah, and then the other, so Burrendong, and it's an interesting one because it's not a lot of your hakeas are great big trees, and this is kind of a low bushy hakea. So it's a low bushy hakea.
We're just putting up a picture of what Burrendong Beauty looks like.
Yeah. Now you can go. Where would you go to see that video?
Oh, you can go to our YouTube channel, and if you just type in Burrendong, that's BURRENDONG, Burrendong, then that will pop up for you.
Right. Okay.
That video.
And then another really good one is strawberry smoothie. Now, strawberry smoothie is a beautiful low-grown grevillea, and if you mass plant it, you'll get a beautiful ground cover that'll be kind of like about 40 centimetres tall, and I've done a video on that one, and dead of winter, amazing show of flowers, and and the pink is a really interesting pink. It's sort of I don't know, it's kind of like a rusty pink or something. It's not a clean bright pink. It's a really interesting pink. I love the pink. It's hard to describe exactly what, but it's a different kind of a pink.
It's not a really Barbie pink. It's more interesting than that.
Yeah, it's a really interesting, beautiful pink, and mass planted. So I mean, you could go look at our video on that. That's
so hakeas and grevilleas all flower in the winter. Yeah, and they produce really beautiful blooms.
Yeah, and your camellias. Then one more.
I've got one for you.
Okay, well,
Go.
2 more. Next one is hellebore. Now what's interesting is that
yes.
hellebores all used to be kind of a weird browny colour, but they seem to have put a lot of work in on breeding them. And there's some beautiful and again interesting pink. It's not like, as you said, your Barbie pink. It's a really interesting pink that you get with them, and there's several varieties worth a look at. And you could go to our website and look at the hellebores. But hellebores, beautiful pinks, and they're sometimes called a winter rose because it's a beautiful flower that occurs right in the dead of winter, and there's something that you can grow in the shady corner of the garden.
All right, so the other one that I was thinking of is your Correa dusky bells, because Correas are another bunch of Australian plants that flower prolifically, and they flower in the winter time.
And that's a beautiful flower too. It's a lovely little bell. It's a lovely little bell that sort of hangs amongst fine dark green foliage.
Yeah. All right, well, Chris, I think Miss Girl, I hope you enjoyed that little discussion on pink flowers for winter, because I think that was a really good question. And thank you also very much for joining us. This is our second last Q&A of 2025. Our next one will be coming up on Monday the 29th of December. I don't think we have our flash sale on this Friday because of what's going on. It's a busy week for everyone, and people will be distracted with Christmas and getting ready. So, I was
thinking that maybe we could just rerun it for people that missed it, because it's really
keep our sale going.
Yeah,
Why
keep
not?
our sale going and just rerun the old flash sale, so it won't be live. It'll be almost live.
Yep.
And what it is, it could reacquaint anybody that hasn't tuned in, reacquaint them with what's currently, and what it is, we've got 100 items on special right now.
Yep.
We've gone and got deals from the grower, and I think that, and this was really aimed at your summer garden project.
Yes.
And so if you're doing a summer garden project, it would be great to tune in this Friday at 12 o'clock for a rerun of our last one.
Yep.
But those specials are all still current.
All right,
for another week.
Well, that's fantastic. So that means that those sale items will keep going for the next week. And also, you know, when you do the flash sale, you run through images like we put on the screen, images of the plants and what they look like when they're fully grown.
Yeah, the idea isn't just to, like sometimes people put out lists of bargains, and it's, you know, it says something you don't know what it is, and a price you don't know, because you don't know what it is, you don't know if the price is any good either.
Yeah.
And whereas what I'm doing is I'm saying, here's something here, you see it,
yeah.
And then I say what it's good for, and maybe how you look after it. I'll give you a little rundown on it, and it's all aimed at people being able to take on and do a garden project on the cheap.
Well, with all that said, thank you very much for that little Christmas present, Chris. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We really enjoy reading your questions and running through them all, because it helps us to learn too.
And we've had some good questions today. It's been fun doing it.
Yep, thank you so very much. Merry Christmas to everyone who celebrates Christmas. Stay safe on the roads, and we'll catch you after Christmas.
Thanks. See you later.